Hello, and welcome to another Enrichment with the Gifted Guy. Today, what we're going to be talking about is the importance of details. I am sure that in your schooling career, you have had your teachers write on a piece of paper or say to you, I need more details. More details, please. It's almost annoying how much they're adding for details. And so the question becomes, why are they asking for these details? And more importantly, what do these details provide? Keep in mind all your communication, all your work that you do, whether it's solving math problems or writing an essay or filling out a worksheet, is that you're trying to communicate to your teacher. And so, what details do is they give us a better picture of what it is that you're trying to communicate. So, rather than just give us the basics or the main points, these details add a lot to your understanding and what we see in your understanding of the work that you're doing. And so details matter. And it's really important that you get in the habit of providing details. And the more details you provide, the clearer your communication is going to be. So let me give you a few examples using different means of communication. So what you see here is a scene from a very famous painting called The Scream. Now, you can look at this painting as it is, and you can discern that this person is indeed screaming. So it's got the main point of the painting and it falls in line with the title of that painting. However, what you don't see are a lot of the details involved with the painting. These are what the details look like. And so these details add a lot to this painting. First off, it tells us where this takes place. It takes place on a boardwalk, it looks like. It tells us who else is there. So you have these two people in the background. So you see off to the other side, you see that it's like a lake or something, and that there are some ships off in the distance. And so this just adds to the story of what is going on here. This is not just merely a person screaming randomly. This is a person screaming out in public. So it may be even more, speaks more to the importance of why they're screaming. And we as the person looking at this painting, then we try to interpret it. But if we only have this to work with, that doesn't really help us to understand the whole picture. And so, literally, by showing the whole picture, we get a better understanding of what the artist may be thinking, and then we can try to figure out what we make of the painting on our own. So, let me give you another example. This one is a scene from the famous painting by Vincent van Gogh called Starry Night. And if you look at the painting, this is the main focus of the painting. You have this mountain or whatever this object is, and you have the stars in the back, hence the term Starry Night. However, what you're not seeing, you're looking at the main point, but you're not seeing all the details involved. So if you look at the whole thing, the piece is still at the main focus of the painting. It's still in the foreground. It's still the main thing that draws your eye. But then you see there are other things. There's a city or a town in the background. You can see the swirling wind. You can see the moon. You can see the entire night sky. So these details matter. These details add to this painting. They give us not just the main idea, they give us the whole picture. And this is what, when you're doing your schoolwork, when you just give us the main idea or the answer, it doesn't really show your complete understanding. It means that you know it. It doesn't necessarily mean that you understand it. And that's what details do, is they convey to the teacher or whoever is looking at it that you understand what it is that you have learned. So let me give you an example. So I used art. Let me give you an example in literature. So Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban is a book in the Harry Potter series, and this is the opening scene to this book. If we're just taking the main ideas and not all the details involved with it, but just the main ideas, this is what this passage might look like. Harry went down to breakfast. He sat down between Dudley and Uncle Vernon. He helped himself to a piece of toast, then looked up at the television. There was a report on it. The public is warned that Black has escaped. So if you were to read this, you would get the general main idea of what's going on, which is that Harry comes down, sits down between his uncle and his cousin, and has some toast, and then sees that this person has escaped, this dangerous person. But without detail, you just get the basics. When you have detail, what you get is this. So this is the exact same passage, only this passage has more detail to it. So this is how this reads. Harry went down to breakfast the next morning to find the three Dursleys already sitting around the kitchen table. They were watching a brand new television, a welcome home for the summer present for Dudley, who had been complaining loudly about the long walk between the fridge and the television in the living room. Dudley had spent most of the summer in the kitchen, his piggy little eyes fixed on the screen and his five chins wobbling as he ate continually. Harry sat down between Dudley and Uncle Vernon, a large, beefy man with very little neck and a lot of mustache. Far from wishing Harry a happy birthday, none of the Dursleys made any sign that they had noticed Harry enter the room. But Harry was far too used to this to care. He helped himself to a piece of toast and then looked at the reporter on the television, who was halfway through a report on an escaped convict. The public is warned that Black is armed and extremely. And so you can see that these details give you a bigger picture of Harry's relationship with his family, of the character of Dudley and how he is spoiled, to what the uncle looks like. And so these details add so much to this passage. You're not just getting the main points, you're getting the whole picture. And again, that's what these details provide. So I'm going to provide you one more example, and this is kind of a listening example. So I'm going to show you two different clips involving the same song, which is called Ode to Joy. You may recognize this piece. But one is going to give you the piece just in its basic melody, so the main parts of the song. And then the other one is going to add some details to it. And I want you to notice the difference between these two. So here is the first piece. Now here is the piece with just a little more detail added to it.
Tochter aus Elysium, wir betreten feuertrunken himmlische dein Heiligtum. Deine Zauber binden wieder, was die Mode streng geteilt. Alle Menschen werden blühen, wo dein sanfter Flügel weilt. Deine Zauber binden wieder, was die Mode streng geteilt.
So you can see there's a huge difference between those two pieces. One carries only the main melody and has one part played by the piano. The other one has all these other pieces of music coming in. We have singers, we have violins, we have a timpani, we have uh, all these instruments, each playing their own little detailed part, which add to the whole. And so what I wanted to leave you with is it is really important to get the main idea or to get the answer to what it is that you're trying to, the question that you're trying to solve. However, I do want to stress the importance of the details. You have to balance this big picture of what it is that you're trying to communicate with people, along with the details that then fill in the blanks and that adds so much to this big picture. So you need to make sure that whenever possible that you are being as detailed as you can, and that way you are communicating clearly what it is, not just the big picture stuff, but the little things that matter.